Welcome to the story of immortality. You're about to enter a magical world. We invite you to savor the feeling of peace, love, and wisdom as it opens your eyes to your true self, to reality itself. The sessions are designed to uplift you as you access the subtle, eternal spiritual universe that moves within this physical world. To take maximum benefit from this series, we recommend the following important tips. Sit in a quiet place where you can be alone for an hour. We ask you to take this time out and be with yourself with no distractions. Sit with your spine straight, either in a comfortable chair or on the floor. This will ensure that the energy flowing in your body will support what you're hearing. Keep your phones in silent mode and away from you in another room for the whole hour. We encourage you to keep your camera on. Our experience has taught us that other participants will be inspired to see you. We will record these sessions. Only the speakers and not the participants will be recorded. 5 languages are available for translation. To select a language, click on the interpretation button and then you can opt for Hindi, Spanish, French, Telugu or Tamil by clicking on one of them. This is our registration link. It is not mandatory, but if you would like to receive the recordings and other information, then do register.
Om Shanti. Welcome to the story of immortality presented by Brahma Kumaris. So today is episode 11. So warm welcome to everyone, and today's topic is the human world tree. So now we will see the flow of today's program, and then our dear sister Shireen will be with us and she will introduce us our today's guest speaker. Om Shanti.
This program, The Story of Immortality, will enlighten you through insights, visuals, and meditations. We will begin soon with 15 minutes of sharing with a senior teacher. Then Sister Shireen or Sister Dorothy will make a 30-minute presentation, interspaced with 2 meditations that unwrap the book. Lastly, we will address questions from participants for 10 minutes. Om Shanti, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are from. Warm welcome to episode 11. And every time I hear about an episode, I always think, oh, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. But the tree is definitely my favorite for today. And we are having a very, very wonderful guest joining us. And that is Brother Eric from Canada. Where are you, Divine Brother? And so Brother Eric is based in Canada, in Montreal. He is a TV producer for CBC, I think. And he has been practicing the teachings of the of the story of immortality for over 35 years, I think. And so, dear divine brother, welcome. There you are. I was wondering what happened.
You
Welcome.
found me. Hello, Shireen. Hello, everyone. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. For those watching in 2058, this is Planet Earth. Happy to talk to you.
Welcome, brother. It's always lovely to see your very light and playful self. So today our topic is this, the human world tree. And so today and tomorrow we unwrap the human world tree. And so they haven't heard about the tree yet. And we would like to hear about your personal experience of it. When you first heard about the tree, what did you think about it?
Well, you know, we've been told our whole life that we come from monkeys, right? That monkeys turn into human beings. But then on that day, I found out that monkeys come from the trees. So I realized we're not coming from monkeys, but we're coming from the tree itself. And I know those listening now have no clue what we're talking about because you haven't covered the tree yet. But it's a metaphor. It's a beautiful image that shows the whole humanity, you know, in the form of a tree where the seed is the common element that unified everyone in the tree. So I will let you tell the story of the tree later. But for me, when I heard that story, I was very touched because I was very confused about who has the truth. And I was, to be honest with you, very tired of these conflicts. And I thought religion creates conflicts more than anything else. And in the name of God, they are killing the whole world. And I was watching the news. I work in the news for many years. I've been in newsrooms. Now I'm going to slow down. I'm just remembering the translators, which I salute with love. And I'll speak a bit slower. So I'll speak translatable English. It's a new language, very available on Zoom World. So yeah, I found that I was not comfortable with religions being at war with each other. And in French, there's a saying that says, every road leads to Rome. I don't know if that's same or similar.
Yeah, there is this, all roads lead to Rome, is the English version.
But when I heard the story of the tree of humanity, I realized that they are not going to Rome, they're coming from Rome. And that all the religions are not taking us to the same thing at all. Because many people who try to create unity were telling us, doesn't matter which religion it is, they all lead to the same essence, to the same truth. And it's a nice poetic image, but it's absolutely not the reality. And when I heard the story of the tree, I realized they are going in totally different direction.
Right.
Like the flowers of a bouquet, they look in different spots in the universe.
Right.
But they all come from the same seed.
Right.
And it really brought back to me this awareness that it's not that you can create unity in diversity, but you can think of unity first and appreciate the beauty of diversity that comes from unity. So for me, it totally reversed my understanding of how we should fit together as a world family. And you cannot tell each other we're the same. No, we are completely different. But we have an original ancestor. We have something in common way back,
right,
where we come from. And that really helped me a lot.
So you were talking about how you were not very happy with the way religions were in conflict. Were you religious? How old were you when you started?
Huh. I have only a few minutes, right? That's my problem. I like to talk a lot, and my story is very long. So, in short, I was 14 years old when my mother passed away. And at that time, I was very religious. I was every Sunday in a mass in church, in a Catholic church. I was in a choir singing. I was soloist, singing for Christmas mass and stuff like that. My teachers were priests. We had a nun that came to the house on a regular basis. So I was religious. When a fraction of a second, I understood my mother died, my mind went to God. And I was very angry. And I told him, you just betrayed me. I hate you. I never want to hear from you again. Bye-bye. Enjoy your churches and temples. I'll go back to movie theaters. Much more interesting. So for 7 years, from 7 to 21, anyone who would talk to me about God, I would terminate the relationship, honestly. Wow. I didn't want any friends because I thought they're lunatics. Religions is bad.
So it's not that you were an atheist, you just did not care for God, is that it?
If I were to run into election time, I would run against God. So no, I was not at all atheist or agnostic. I just was angry at God.
Okay.
And when I came to discover the story of immortality, the theory of the cycle, the soul, I was very intrigued. And I knew that I had to confront God in a different way. And the tree helped me a lot, in a way that I realized his invisible nature that you don't see all around. But when we say, for example, that we all are a part of God, I don't believe today in omnipresence of God. But now I can understand that if we all come from the same source, there's a little residue of the seed in all the leaves and all the flowers and all the branches. And so what I'm looking at in other people is not to see God, but is to see his signature. If you go somewhere and you find a nice scarf and they tell you, it's a scarf of Celine Dion. She left that scarf after singing at my party last night. Oh, this is a scarf of Celine Dion. This is beautiful. So when I look in people, I search for the scarf of God, for his hat, for his gloves, whatever he has left in the heart and in the mind of souls. Right. And that's what the tree told me. Buddha stayed under a tree and apparently he got really enlightened. So I invite everyone to stay under the tree of humanity, meditate in it, and see if you don't get an apple first on your head, you might get some enlightenment.
How beautiful. You're putting it very poetically. Are you sure you're not a poet?
No, I'm French.
Right. So after how long, after you heard the story of immortality, how long did it take you to come to love God? Because you are a true lover of God right now. So what made the shift from I'll run against you and I'll cut my friendship off from you if you talk about God to this God, purely God-loving soul right now in front of you?
It took me, to be honest, it took me a little while. Immediately I was attracted, to God or to the concepts, the ideas. The philosophy took me a little while because I was I had an ego the size of, I think, bigger than Canada at the time. So it was hard for me to understand everything and to agree with everything. And I complained to the teacher after a while that I couldn't feel God's love. I was willing to love him, to be loved, but I couldn't feel it. And I was sitting there, I'm a soul, he is a point of light, he's a soul. Nothing happened. I saw the point of light. I had an experience in the soul world, but the heart didn't open up right away. And one day the teacher told me, just talk to him. And because I was a little bit angry at him for killing my mother, it's a little minor source of disagreement between us. We were told by religion, if your mother died, he took her. And that's why I didn't like it. I said, you made me an orphan. Ask the children if they agree before taking their mother away. And I told God, in our world, people who take people away like that, we call them serial killers. So we have to talk. So when I was told, talk to God, then I started creating a new conversation with God. And then one day someone told me something beautiful. And she told me, a senior teacher from San Francisco, and she said, God will not give you what human beings can give you in relationships and in the quality of love that you are seeking. Because I was still searching for the romantic love from France, from French background. And God doesn't come with roses and perfume, unfortunately. So she said, God will not give you that kind of experience that you are seeking in human beings. But you have to find in God what he can give you that no human being can give you. And that was really the turning point. God will never be a human.
Right.
He's divine.
So I want to go back to this angry at God for killing your mother, to your understanding of God has changed, right? About he, of course, doesn't kill people and all of those things. Talk to me about that shift, that understanding. How did it change?
Well, the change came through understanding, a very rational understanding. I was studying in science. I heard you did go through the cycle the last few days. After passing, I was going through an exam in university on the Darwin theory. So I just finished my exam about dinosaurs and monkeys coming from the tree. And I came to the center and they told me that we were not coming from monkeys, but we have become monkeys and we may turn into deity soon. And I left the center saying, this teacher, she's a lunatic. She should go to university and learn from clever people. But then I realized that I should understand the knowledge in a different perspective. So I really listened to karma philosophy a lot. And that reconciliated me a lot with philosophy and then with spirituality. You can be spiritual and disconnected from reality. But if there's a solid foundation of understanding backed with a concept like karma philosophy that is very interesting, then your spirituality is grounded in something else. And that really helped me to change my understanding of how I perceive the world. So I was not angry at God anymore because I understood he, of course, never did anything wrong and is not involved in killing and giving birth. And I recreated a relationship with God based on understanding that started to open the door to experiences little by little by little. And I will finish by saying it's like the story of the little prince, for those who know the story. And when he found a fox in a planet, he immediately jumped on the fox, thinking it was like a fox bear or a teddy bear or something you can grab for your own comfort and start to pet, And the fox said, whoa, don't do that with me. No. You're not going to pet me like this. No. You're going to come every day and you're going to sit over there. And every day we will be sitting closer. You remember that story? It's a beautiful story. And I felt this is what God told me. When I came, I wanted to be highly spiritual. I said, oh, wait. Sit, stay there. And every day you can come a little bit closer. And at the end, maybe you'll feel that love. And that's what happened. It took me time because I didn't want a kind of irrational or fanatical or like a hairy fairy tale story type of love. Sorry for translation. And I felt I want a real love.
Grounded.
Grounded. And that's what happened after the years. And yes, I became not only God's friend, but yes, lover. And I remember one of my trip in India when I experienced God's love. On my notebook, I didn't take any note of the classes or anything. I just repeated on my notebook, Eric, never forget how much God is just love, 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 love. Never forget that. Forget every other concept, but don't forget that.
Wow, what a beautiful, beautiful message. Thank you so much. We are over time, but I want to give one sentence is if you were to give all of us you could say a tip on how to establish this loving relationship with God, what would you say?
Well, my latest tip is actually to imagine that he lives with you wherever you live. He's watching every single action you're performing. He's hearing your mind. And imagine that you're living with him physically and behave accordingly and see what happens in the conversation. So if you have a bad thought, you'll say, oh yeah, I know you don't want me to have that thought. I'm sorry. What should I think? Have a conversation as if I'm living with him. And then when I wake up in the morning, I always say good morning, to him. I always feel this is my first thing. Then in the evening, you can ask him, do you want to come to bed? Is it okay? Should we go now? Is it getting late? And let's go. And that's my experience. And yes, it's kind of a human dimension, but the feeling I get is better than any human being. I can guarantee you. And yeah, it's a long term. When my relatives tell me sometime, Eric, you never regret remaining single in your life. I say, I'm not single. I'm the only one in the family who is still in relationship after 35 years. I asked for divorce a few times, but he never agreed. And we're still married. We're still married. I still have my ring. I'm still married. 35 years later, old couple, happy couple.
Fabulous, fabulous. I would love to chat with you a lot longer, but time dictates we have to part right now.
I understand. And you can have an excuse. That was a French person you interviewed. They speak so much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brother Eric. Thank you so much.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. And thanks for listening and for inviting me. It's my pleasure. Lots of love.
Thank you. So, divine angels, we are going to talk today about the tree of humanity, like Brother Eric was talking about. And so the tree of humanity is a very, very fascinating thing, because what happens with the tree of humanity is that it gives us a blueprint of everything that has happened in the world in terms of how the spiritual world is and how it manifests in the physical world and how the physical world over time changes. And so first we will talk about the spiritual world. So in the spiritual world, that is in the soul world, in Nirvana, the land of Nirvana, or Paramdham or Shantidham, or we can call it the incorporeal world, or the soul world, in simple words, soul world, where all the souls live. That is where even the Supreme Soul lives. And so in the soul world, I want you to imagine, like you're seeing on the screen, the Supreme Soul as the seed is on top, and the souls are below. So it's an inverted tree, like you're seeing there. It's an inverted tree. The Supreme Soul is on top and the souls are down below. And what happens is these souls from the soul world, the tree of the soul world, come down and populate the tree of the human world. And so in the home of souls, there is the tree of souls, and Baba is the seed, or the Supreme Soul is the seed of the incorporeal tree of souls. And in that tree, in the incorporeal world, just remember, in the incorporeal world, in that tree, each of us, every single soul has its own place. So you could think of it like a bedroom, right? Like you have your own beautiful home, which is the whole soul world, and a small portion is your own place. So it's your own bedroom, and no one can take that away from you. No one can snatch it away from you. And every time you go there, you feel that sense of comfort, that sense of belonging, that sense of rest, that sense of being refreshed. And so that is why it is important to remember this. And so we come, the souls come from there, from the soul world, and we enter bodies. And so that is why these bodies are our costume and the soul world is our home. So that is home. This is our costume. This is the place where we play our part. You could say it's the stage. And so these are costumes, you're playing a part. And so souls come from there and enter bodies, and they play their parts on the field of action. So it's called a karma kshetra, is the field of action. And then what happens is that that is again another representation of how the Supreme Soul is on top, and below all souls are there in inverted tree in the soul world. And then souls come, souls play their part, and then the Supreme Soul, what happens is now we need to talk about the tree that happens on Earth. So Earth is, of course, round. The cycle is going on. There's the golden age, the silver age, the copper age, the iron age, all of that is happening. But within that, you could describe this as a spiritual tree. And the spiritual tree has a spiritual seed, and that spiritual seed is the Supreme Soul. So the Supreme Soul is the seed of this human world. And so first the seed comes and plants, so spiritually plants himself on earth. Then the roots happen. And so you can think of yourself as roots of the tree, because the roots of the tree are the souls that take direct sustenance from the seed, and they are the ones who create the beginning or the beginning trunk of the tree. And so in the sweet home, you are an incorporeal family of souls. Then you become the physical family of human beings. And then the father is the seed of the human tree. And this tree is a living tree. It's not a physical tree, it's a conscient. Living here means it has awareness, it has understanding, alive, like that. So not the tree itself, but the Supreme Soul and the souls, right? So that is why you call it a living tree. And also what happens is the Supreme Soul is, there is only one human world and one tree, and the seed is conscient, is alive. The Supreme Soul is alive. The Supreme Soul is awareness and understanding. And so this is another representation of the physical tree now. So the physical tree accommodates every soul. So every soul has a unique part. And you could say in this tree that the souls are the leaves. So that is the metaphor, is the leaf is equal to one soul, and each soul has a unique part. And the tree itself has 4 parts. The golden age is part 1, the silver age is part 2, the copper age is part 3, and iron age is part 4. And the trunk of the tree is the golden and silver ages. And if you've noticed, the trunk of the tree is right here, is you could say the trunk of the tree is an individual trunk. It is not, it is undivided. And the branches, the division happens from the copper age onwards. The copper and iron ages, there are lots of divisions. But the golden and silver ages, it's one undivided trunk. That means it's one family, one kingdom, one language, one united global family. And the trunk, the branches and the twigs and the new leaves, so all of them, right? They are the, you could say, this is the metaphor, and the trunk, the branches and the twigs and the new leaves, they're all a part of the tree, and the tree continues to grow. New souls emerge, they continue to come down from the soul world to play their part, and the tree continues to grow as time goes on. So in the golden age and silver age, it's one trunk, and then copper and iron ages, as time keeps moving, it keeps growing. And so all of them, the golden, silver, and copper and iron ages, all of the souls go through this. All of the souls go through the golden age, go through the silver age, go through the copper age, and go through the iron age. That is, we are pure to begin with, then we become less pure, and then a little less, and then we become impure. And so that is, you will see the whole tree. So you see these people sitting at the roots in meditation. So all of us are the roots of this tree. All of us sitting at the roots. So all souls go through the golden, silver, copper, and iron ages, and alloy, that is negativity, the vices get mixed into the soul, and then we become silver age, then copper age, then iron age. So the tree is also called the tree of the variety of religions. So the tree includes all of the deity tree is the trunk, and all the other branches like Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, all of that, they are the branches of the tree. So here you see both the soul world tree and the physical tree. It is a reflection of each other. Souls come down onto earth, into the field of action, and then they start playing their part. They take their place as a leaf in the tree, and they start playing their part. So new souls are always pure at first, and they bring their own sparkle to the tree. So every new soul comes, they invent something, they start a religion in the copper age, that's what happens. And so they have their own purity and their sparkle. And then as time goes on, they become impure. And so what happens is our process of purification has started. So by belonging to the tree, the seed of the tree, that is, we become the roots, connect to the seed of the tree, and then not only do we become pure, but we have a connection with all of the souls, right? And so when we have a connection with all of these souls, we feel, Brother Eric was saying that Buddha sat under the tree and gained enlightenment. And so we can actually metaphorically sit with the seed at the roots of the tree and think about the tree, think about the whole tree, how it became, how was the golden age, what happened, all of that. And we can also gain enlightenment. And not only enlightenment, but we will feel a connection with the whole of humanity. And whatever we think, whatever good wishes we have, whatever pure feelings we have, whatever connection we have with the Supreme Soul, that gets passed on to the whole tree. So with that, let's have a few minutes of meditation. So I want you to take a deep breath in and out and become aware of yourself as a soul, as a being of light. Right here at the base of the brain, behind the eyes, in your forehead, you're sparkling. And as a sparkling star, you have decided that you want to think about the tree in the soul world. So allow yourself to go to the soul world and see and connect with the Supreme Soul. And there's a tree of souls up there. And you gradually come down and occupy the physical tree, the tree of humanity, where the seed of the tree of humanity comes from the soul world and plants himself down and becomes the seed, the living, conscient seed of humanity. And you, as a soul, you're a leaf on this tree. You've been through the cycle of golden, silver, copper, and iron. And very gently, you become connected with the seed, the blissful one, the conscient one, the ocean of knowledge, the ever pure seed. And when you connect with the seed, you're sitting at the roots as a root, and you become a root, and you're sitting in meditation. And while you're sitting in meditation at the roots of the tree, connected with the seed, you realize that every soul in the tree, every leaf, has a unique part to play. When they first come from the soul world, they're pure and they have a sparkle. And as time goes on, every soul, including me and you and everyone, lose that sparkle. And now, connected to the seed as a root, we are regaining that sparkle. And I sit here and I absorb love and peace from the seed. And as I absorb, naturally and automatically, because I'm a root of this living tree, of the human world tree, whatever I absorb as a root gets transmitted to the rest of the tree. With that powerful thought, I come back to here and now. Om Shanti. So, I hope your meditation was good. I hope there was a experience. But just remember one thing, that the experience doesn't happen right away. The experience happens over time, like Brother Eric was saying, right? It's not like, oh, you get and the thing opens up and then you have an experience. No. The more you meditate, the more you reflect on this, the more you meditate, the more you reflect on this. You have to do it again and again and again and again. And the more you do it, the more you will experience it. So, and also it's important to know that we have to be grounded, and this grounding will help us meditate. And so the grounding will help us keep also. So if it comes in a flash, right, it goes in a flash. So when we ground ourselves, when we keep practicing, then the meditation deepens, and then I will have an experience as a root, and then I'll have the experience of the seed, and then I will experience of enlightenment, awakening, all of that. So now let's talk about the different trunks, the different branches and the trunks of the tree, right? So the first one is the golden age, the trunk of the tree. And so the golden and silver ages, actually the golden age and then the silver age is a reflection of the golden age. So the golden age is called Sanatana Dharma, that is the original eternal deity religion. So the word religion here is used, but it's not like a physical religion. It is like where religion in the truest sense of the word, which means that what is your original connection? So original or sacred dharma, so sacred connection, sacred link. And so that in the golden age is completely satopradhan, or satopradhan means completely pure at first. And then there is no limit to their happiness. Everyone is harmonious. Everyone is gentle. The very name is heaven, paradise, the new world. It is absolutely beautiful. Everyone is pure. All of them are enlightened souls. Everyone is a self-sovereign. Everyone is a master of the self and the master of the world. And so there is nothing but peace, happiness, and purity. And there is a saying of the people in the golden age of the Sanatana Dharma, that ahimsa paramo dharma, which is that ahimsa is their, or nonviolence is their supreme religion in the golden age. And so their nature and sanskaras are gentle and virtuous, and they are divine. They were called deities. And then what happens is the deity souls have natural purity, and then everyone is divine and lives in a natural state of divinity, and there are no bad actions. And we'll come into this in karma. The actions are neutral, they are elevated. And that also happens in the silver age. So it's a golden age, and then the silver age is a reflection of that. And then the world, so it's the trunk, right? The deity community is a trunk. And then the land of truth, and they live in soul consciousness. Oh, and they have a lifespan of 150 years, and they take rebirth. And as they take rebirth, they come into the Silver Age. And as they take rebirth, they come into the Copper Age. So every time you take birth and rebirth, because you're coming in the cycle of birth and rebirth, you become impure, slightly impure every birth. It's a very, very gradual decline. And as you gradually decline, you come into the Copper Age. And so the Copper Age is the age, you could say, where all of the religions begin, and people are still sensible in the Copper Age, but all of the four major religions begin in the Copper Age. And Abraham and Buddha and Christ and Muhammad. And there's a difference though. The pure souls from the soul world come into the cycle, onto earth. And then their souls, the souls that belong to their religion, also come down after them. So they follow them down, and that is how the population slowly increases. In the Golden and Silver Ages, population is little. That's why it's a trunk. It's one individual family. And then it increases, and you have the different branches. And so I'm not going to talk too much about the religious founders like Abraham and Buddha and Christ, but they're dharmatmas. Dharmatmas are pure. They come directly from the soul world. And their role is very necessary and very essential. And they establish, you could say they come and establish, they come and repair the world. They come and support the world when the world needs support. So every major religion spreads like a tree of its own. So you have different branches, right? So let's talk about Christianity, which is easier for me to explain. And so Christianity is a branch, but in the branch also, there's a golden age of Christianity, a silver age of Christianity, copper age of Christianity, and iron age of Christianity. And so right now we are in the iron age of Christianity. In the golden and silver ages of Christianity, it's this individual branch, no breakup. And then the Protestant church was protesting against the Catholics. And so they started the Protestant religion, and the branch split. And now you have many different sub-branches and twigs, and all of the leaves are now, the souls on the Christian branch are the leaves, and there are many branches and many twigs and many leaves. It is now the iron age of the tree. The tree has completed its state of growth. Conflicts have started. They start off very small, and then now it leads to major wars. The conflict has become major wars. So each branch also has conflict within the branch. There's conflict amongst the branches, and then within the branch also, because they don't know the seed, and there is the feeling of not belonging. So they're spiritual orphans, because there is no feeling of belonging. So with that, let's have a few minutes of meditation. Again, I want you to breathe in and out deeply. Breathe in, inhale, keep your spine straight, exhale. And as you inhale, focus your energies at the seat of the soul, at the base of the brain. Focus all your energies there. And see yourself as luminous light, just animating this body. Make it alive, making it alive. You're the thinking, feeling being in this body. And as a thinking, feeling being, you realize, you understand that your home is the soul world. This is just a costume, the body is just a costume, but your real home is the soul world. And you have descended from the soul world and have come here into this tree of humanity. And you're playing your part. And you have an important decision to make. The decision to connect with the seed of the tree. Not to go through any middlemen, but to directly connect with the seed of the tree and become a root of the living tree. And here you're sitting with the Supreme Soul, the seed, the blissful one, the ocean of knowledge. He's the seed of all goodness, all beauty, all spiritual qualities. And you as a root, when you're connected to the seed, you receive those qualities from the seed. Connected to the ocean of knowledge, you become wise. Connected to the love, the ocean of love, you become loving. Because there's a part of the seed in you, the root. You have the same spiritual DNA. And you accept this. You accept that, yes, I have to become the root of the tree. And yes, I have to take directly from the seed. And I have to transmit that to the rest of the tree. The tree that started in the golden and silver ages and has grown into the copper and iron ages and is right now finished its growth. You realize this is a call as a leaf to come and plant yourself at the base and connect with the seed. And because we are conscient leaves and conscient roots, the choice is yours completely. You can choose to wake up spiritually and become part of the roots that will eventually go into the trunk. With that choice in mind, you come back to here and now. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So it was wonderful to know about the human world tree and also beautiful meditation. Thank you so much, Sister Shireen, from each one of us to you and also to everyone to be part of it. So now we would like to open up for the question answer session. So please do write your questions in chat box to our host, and our two presenters, Sister Shireen and Sister Dorothy, will be with us and they will address your questions. So, welcome, Sister Shireen, Sister Dorothy.
Thank you,
Sister Bhumika. Very nice. Well done, Shireen. And I'm sure everyone took a lot of benefit from that, from the details and the explanations that you gave. So we do have some questions still from last week that I thought we might want to start with. And one of them is very practical. And it says, how do you focus on what you want to think? How do you focus? So a lot of people have trouble focusing and especially in meditation if they're not used to meditating. So do you have any tips for our viewers on how to focus?
Yeah, 3-step formula. I don't know if I ever told you, Dorothy, Ben, about my 3-step formula. First step is practice. Second step is practice. And third step is practice.
Very good. I'd like to add something to that as well. For me, when I meditated, especially in the beginning, I would tell my mind, okay, mind, just sit quietly for a while, because we can talk to our mind because the mind is like a child. It will listen to us, but we have to communicate with the mind. The intellect has to communicate with the mind. Mind, sit quietly. I'll get back to you in 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And from there, then just have this determined thought. And of course, practice, practice, practice. And I love that.
I also think that lifestyle, you can't do whatever you want during the day and then decide you want to sit and meditate for 5 minutes in the evening. You need to have a spiritual lifestyle. It's a whole package. You have to ask yourself the question, how much do you want this? How important is this to you? If it's important, then you have to put the time in. You have to change your lifestyle. You can't do whatever you want and come back and say, oh, let me meditate.
Very
We
good.
will talk about the lifestyle in one of the sessions later on.
Right. And that was a good point, Shireen, sister, because as you go through the day, just seeing others as soul instead of the body, that itself is a meditation. It's spirituality. It's the core of what we think, what we feel, and who we are. Another question from last week is, does this cycle stop at any moment in time?
No, that's why it's eternal. I think it was Sister Luciana last weekend was talking about how she really understood eternity as a cycle that keeps going. And I love that explanation. So eternal is not that, it's not linear, right? Because we are brought up on this concept of it starts with the big bang, it ends with a bang, right? And so it's a linear, but it is a cycle, and the cycle keeps going. It keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going, and it's eternal. And one of the things that the last year or so I have been deeply contemplating on is infinity and eternity. And I always sit down and think, okay, are they infinite emails in the universe? Or, and then I realized, no, they're not infinite emails, because if someone cares to think, someone would be able to count all of the emails. Like they could be trillions, but they are countable. But infinite means really infinite. And eternal means the same way. No beginning, no end, no stop.
Okay. Another question from last week is, how long is the confluence age?
Good question. Good question. Baba, the Supreme Soul, sometimes in our advanced classes in the Murlis, talks about it being about 100 years, but there's no specific date. There's no specific end date. No, it could be 100 years, it could be longer, it could be less. But we are about 8 years into it. passed, because we started in 1936. So we are about 85 years into it, but it could be longer. But it's a good question, which really I don't have an answer to.
But we know then it's about 100 years,
About
give
100.
or take. So we're actually at the very end of this tree or the cycle of time, aren't we?
Yes, yes, you're absolutely right. We are
Yes.
pretty much at the end.
And there's a comment from today, which is very nice. Super, super interesting. You have so much wonderful knowledge. Yes, person, because it's from God. And then it says, this has been an awakening for me. Thank you. Thank you. Incredible, peaceful meditations. Would you like to say something, Shireen?
Thank you for the feedback. And yes, it's all coming from the Supreme Soul. I'm not that smart. I can think of all of these things.
Right.
We are instruments for the Supreme Soul.
Okay. And another question from last week is, who is the creator of God?
The God is the only soul, you could say, is ever pure, constantly, eternally pure. Again, let's go back to this concept of eternity. Eternally pure, eternally the ocean of knowledge, eternally all of those things. And so when we talk about God being the creator, that means that he makes us pure. He makes us junior oceans of knowledge. He makes us all of those things. But because he's eternally something, no one needs to create him. So creation here is not that woof when we came in and woof when the world came in. Matter and energy cannot be created nor destroyed. We are always there. God's always there. But he creates us by purifying us, but no one needs to purify God. So there's no creator for God.
Okay. So if anyone else has a question, we do have a minute or two left. You can still write in the chat box and we can answer your questions. And I know you all have probably a lot to think about. And maybe you'll come up with the questions next week after you think about these things because they're very deep. So, but if we don't have any questions, then Sister Shireen is going to read the blessing we have for this weekend.
So this blessing is for all of you, all of you. You have learned to let go of your inner commentary and listen to souls from a silent space. Your silence allows souls to see solutions and glimpse their goodness.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, and silence is such an important part in all of this understanding. Well, thank you, Sister Shireen, for beautiful sharing today. And Sister Bhumika is here to finish us off for today.
Om Shanti, Sister Dorothy and Sister Shireen. That was wonderful. It has been a very interesting journey. Today is our 11th day, and I'm sure everyone is in this journey enjoying. And of course, as Sister Shireen said, that this knowledge is from God, and it's our fortune that we have become instrument to bring that knowledge to all of you. And you gave us this opportunity to. So thank you, each one of you, for being with all of us. Om Shanti. And now I think we'll do 2 minutes of silence. Om Shanti. So here you are seeing on the screen our YouTube channel, tiny.cc/SOI YouTube. Please do visit our channel. There are all the recordings are available there. Please do revise them. You can send link to your friends, family. They can take a benefit. And of course, please send your feedback. It's always nice to hear your feedback and also experiences. And if you haven't registered yet, please do so that we can remind you time to time upcoming events, and also visit our website brahmakumaris.us. Thank you once again and see you tomorrow. Om Shanti.